Hello, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. We are all welcome to this episode, and inshallah, in this episode, we are going to complete the previous one, which is Ma'al Imam Shafi'i. And as I said, I left this particular poem out because this one isn't attributed to Al Imam Shafi'i. It is actually attributed to Alqirā-atur-Rāshida. Alqirā-atur-Rāshida is the one that has this particular qasida. When you search for it everywhere in the books online, you find it related to Alqirā-atur-Rāshida. And so here when he says وَمِن جَمِيلِ مَوَاعِزِ, the pronoun here actually refers to mawa'iz al-Imam Shafi'i. But then accurately it's supposed to be وَمِن جَمِيلِ مَوَاعِز Alqirā-atur-Rāshida. That is how it is. Okay. So as being indicated by a brother in the comment section, we are all aware that this particular version of the PDF of the book is not the original version. The original version does not have all this in it, but then it doesn't spoil anything. It's still, we are still learning on. Our focus is just to learn more Arabic. Okay, Jamil, let's get to work. He says, Ashaddul jihadi jihadul hawa. وَمَا كَرَّمَ الْمَرْءَ إِلَّا التُّقَى. Says the most severe version, the severest version of jihad, Ashaddul jihad, the most severe version of jihad is the jihadul hawa, fighting or struggling against your own low self-desires. So your desire to commit sin, your desire to commit zina, your desire to drink alcohol, your desire to sin, the desire to sin is a strong one. And so fighting it is very difficult. Sometimes you want to do what you want, but Allah commands against that. Having to adhere to what Allah commands requires that you fight what yourself desires. And that is being described as the most strongest version of jihad. Okay. And here actually relates to a particular hadith that has been said to be da'if, and even some have said it to be mawdu'. Okay, but Al-Imam al-Sayuti narrates in Al-Jami' al-Saghir, he reports in Al-Jami' al-Saghir the hadith, and he says it's da'if, yani it's not, his chain of narration is da'if. The hadith says qadimtum khayra maqdamin, yani the Sahaba are coming from they are coming from a fight, a war, and the Prophet ﷺ says qadimtum khayra maqdamin, your return is actually indeed blessed. Then he says, Qadimtum min al-jihad al-asghari. You are coming back from, or you are returning from a smaller jihad. Yani the one they went to fight, kill, and be killed, that is a smaller jihad. Then he said, Qadimtum min al-jihad al-asghari ila al-jihad al-akbar. You've returned from a smaller jihad to a bigger jihad. And so, of course, you would want to know which is the bigger jihad. And then he says, Mujahadatul abdi hawahu, the struggle or fighting against your lower self-desire. Okay, this also goes into the verse of the Quran. I just wish I could find the verse. We have وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى. That is in Surah Nazi'at. Surah Nazi'at, verse number 40. وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. Whoever fears his Lord and also stays away from and prevents his low self-desires from taking over him, indeed that person has Jannah as his reward. Okay, so that is the Ashaddul Jihadi, Jihadul Hawa. And he says, وَمَا كَرَّمَ الْمَرْءَ إِلَّا التُّقَى. Okay, and nothing honors a person except the fear of Allah. This also explains that inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. The one that is most honored in the face of Allah is the one that fears Allah most. Okay, so among people, you don't look at the wealth, you don't look at anything, but then it's the fear of Allah in people. That is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses as a scale. Okay, it says وَمَا كَرَّمَ الْمَرْءَ إِلَّا التُّقَى. Fear of Allah is the one that gives a person honor. And he says, وَأَخْلَاقُ ذِي الْفَضْلِ مَعْرُوفَةٌ. The character of and a virtuous person. Dhil Fadl, a virtuous person. The character of a virtuous person, ma'arufatun bi badlil jamili, is known by the person giving out what is good. Okay, he speaks good, he gives good, when he relates with you, it is good. Everything that comes from the person is good. That is the badlil jamil. Wa tarkil adha. Okay, وَتَرْكِ الْأَذَى. In some versions, this وَتَرْكِ الْأَذَى, you find it وَكَفِّ الْأَذَى. They both mean the same thing. تَرْكِ الْأَذَى بمعنى to leave harming people. So a person that is zilfadil, a person that is virtuous, it is always something that is good that comes from the person, and also the person leaves harming people. He doesn't harm anybody. Okay, al-adha bimana harm. Says وَكُلُّ الْفُكَاهَاتِ مَمْلُولَةٌ. وَكُلُّ الْفُكَاهَاتِ مَمْلُولَةٌ. Al-fukahat is the plural of fukahatun. Fukahatun bimana humor or making fun. Okay, making fun, jokes. He says every form of making fun or jokes is mamlulatun. Mamlulatun, you can say, is something that one gets fed up of. That is a lighter meaning. There is actual meaning offensive. Making fun is offensive. And he says, وَكُلُّ الْفُكَاهَاتِ مَمْلُولَةٌ. Every form of making fun is offensive. It says, وَطُولُ التَّعَاشُرِ فِيهِ الْقِلَى. أي وفي طول التعاشر القلى. التعاشر بمعنى living together, being together. That is التعاشر. And then القلى بمعنى detestation, detesting something, loathing something, abhorring something, hating something, for something to be disgusting to you. So he's telling us that tulul ta'ashuri, tulul ta'ashuri bimana being together for a long time. He says fihil killer, there is some detestation in it. Bimana everybody, when you live with people for a long time, you start getting fed up with their living with the person. You start detesting the person. Okay. And then he says وَكُلُّ طَرِيفٍ لَهُ لَذَّةٌ. Tarif bimana jadid, bimana new thing. Every new thing lahu ladhatun, has its sweetness. When you buy a new car today, you buy a new phone today, you get something new today, even a new dress today, it has its own sweetness that it gives you. And then it says wa kullu talidin, the opposite of tarif. And then a tarif bimana novel, new. Talid bimana old fashioned. Okay, and every old thing sari'ul bila, it easily deteriorates. Al bila bimana deterioration or corroding or damaging. It says every old thing is quick to deteriorate or quick to spoil. Wala shay'a illa lahu afatun. Afa bimana flaw, okay, or the blemish of something. And it says wala shay'a illa lahu afatun. La here is la an-nafiya lil jins, and so you see la shay'a illa lahu afatun. There is nothing except that particular thing will have a flaw. Everything at all has its negative side. There is nothing that is completely positive. Okay, so wala shay'a illa lahu afatun, everything has its harmful side, has its negative side. It says wala shay'a illa lahu muntaha, and there is nothing except that the thing will have an end. Everything has an end. Okay. It says walaysa al-gina nasaban fi yadin, walakin gina an-nafsi kullu al-gina. Okay, also this is something that is different in the popular versions of the poem. When you should search for the popular versions of the poem, or you should search for the poem everywhere, here you see it as nashabun, nun shin ba, not nasaban. Okay, so when he says walaysa al-gina nasaban fi yadin, wealth, having true wealth, is not a relation, something that is your relation in your hand. Okay, it's not like it's a family lineage that you have in your hand. So to be wealthy is not like, oh, my father is wealthy, I'm supposed to be wealthy. It's not a lineage matter. ولكن غنى النفس, but then the wealth of your own self, the nature, your nature, being well-mannered, good-charactered, fear of God. كل الغنى, that is the whole or the totality of wealth. Now let's explain it with the actual test. وليس الغنى نشب في يد. Wealth is not something that is fixed in your hand. نشب في بمعنى stuck in or fixed in. So when we explain with the actual test, it gives more meaning. وَلَيْسَ الْغِنَى نَشَبٌ فِي يَدٍ. Wealth is not something stuck in your hand. وَلَكِنْ غِنَى النَّفْسِ كُلُّ الْغِنَى. But all the totality of richness or wealth is for you to have a good self. And then he says, وَإِنَّا لَفِي صُنْعٍ ظَاهِرٍ. And indeed, we all are in an obvious make. Our make is obvious. Okay, our make bimana, how we look, our structure, our formation is an obvious one, zahirin. And that he says that yadullu ala sani'in la yura. All that our creation points to a particular creature, a particular creator, la yura, that cannot be seen or that is not seen. It says our creation, when you look at it, it should point you to a creator that is not seen. Okay, Jamil. So of course, in the last episode, we forgot to read these ones out, and inshallah we are going to do that and read it together with the last one. If you have any questions about any line at all, do not hesitate, inshallah, for us to clarify it together. In the Imam Shafi'i versions, he says, وَيَقُولُ فِي قَصِيدَةٍ أُخْرَى. Imam Shafi'i says in another qasida, says, يُخَاطِبُنِي السَّفِيهُ بِكُلِّ قُبْحٍ فأكره أن أكون له مجيبا يزيد سفاهة فأزيد حلما كعود زاده الإحراق طيبا. This is just the two lines that was brought here. Then he says here ويقول, and he says ما في المقام لذي عقل وذي أدب من راحة فدع الأوطان واغتربي سافر تجد عوضا عمن تفارقه وانصب فإن لذيذ العيش في النصب إني رأيت وقوف الماء يفسده إن ساح طاب وإن لم يجري لم يطب والأسد لولا فراق الأرض ما افترست والسهم لولا فراق القوس لم يصب والشمس لو وقفت في الفلق دائمة لملها الناس من عجم ومن عرب والتبر كالترب ملقى في أماكنه والعود في أرضه نوع من الحطب. Now we come to today's version, today's poem that we just read. So Abul Atahiya, he says, أشد الجهاد جهاد الهوى وما كرم المرء إلا التقى وأخلاق ذي الفضل معروفة ببذل الجميل وترك الأذى كل الفكاهات مملولة وطول التعاشر فيه الكلى وكل طريف له لذة وكل تليد سريع البلا ولا شيء إلا له آفة ولا شيء إلا له منتهى وليس الغنى نسبا في يد ولكن غنى النفس كل الغنى وإنا لفي صنع ظاهر يدل على صانع لا يرى. That, as I said, is Alqirā-atur-Rāshida. Jamil. So till we meet again, have a very good Arabic time. Don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to share for others to also benefit from the lessons. You are blessed as I also receive my share of the blessings. Okay, let's share it together. So till we meet again, have a very good Arabic time. Don't forget, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section and inshallah we shall attend to it. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.